Up next is an event where 3 important books were launched. Here's a report.
The Nigerian literary store is richer with the launch of not 1, but 3 books written by respected author, trainer, editor and fellow of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, Lanre Idowu. The event, which took place in Lagos, was chaired by a former governor of Ogun State, Olusegun Oshoba, and attended by many other eminent personalities. Mrs. Taiwo Ajayi Lyset, in reviewing Songs of Childhood, transports listeners back to memories of yesteryears.
Songs of childhood, like a steamy romance and hot passion, is a many splendid thing. Absolute joy, pure nostalgia, and a reflection, obviously, of Lanre Idowu's vision, sensitivity, courage, and compassion. Who can forget those hawkers and what they mean to the neighborhoods? In the Song of Childhood, the poet richly captures and situates me, for example, right smack in the middle of my own childhood landscape and unforgettable experiences. I can hear even now the songs of the fishmongers, so graphically evoked. Betu omi akerese, betu omi akerese. Can you hear them? As to his rueful musings in his invocation, whether the stories told in these recollections of his childhood would make sense to the reader, my answer was, are you kidding me? How more powerfully, how more evocatively can your song of childhood resonate with your readers, Mr. Lanre Idowu, when your muse had me, to begin with, totally mesmerized, enthralled, and all but time traveled me to my own now misty, never, never wonderland of childhood, to a glimpse of that dreamland of purity and innocence, to my lost paradise.
Public affairs analyst and columnist Lekan Shote likes the fact that Uneven Steps reads like the history of Nigeria, detailing the uneasy relationship between the Nigerian government and the Nigerian Guild of Editors.
If you want to know the history of Nigeria, at least from 1955 up to the present, you need to read Lanre's book. Now, Uneven Steps, I went through the book. What I found out is, why did he title it Uneven Steps? I guess it's because of what the NGE has experienced in the last 59 years, which is controversies as well as distractions. In 1955, the Nigerian Union of Journalists was formed. And interestingly, the officers of NUJ, a labor union, were editors who you would say are managers, who therefore would not be sympathetic to the issues, labor issues that affect the junior journalists, reporters, and correspondents. And so there was a coup in 1959. There has been coups before the 1966 coup. There was complaint about how could NUJ, which is a labor union, the officers be managers, if you like. So in 1959, there was another election. They voted every one of those individuals out of office. And then the controversy started.
But what makes the steps uneven?
When my friend Steve Osuji tried to be the president of Nigeria Guild of Editors, finally he was told that you are an associate member, you cannot contest to be the president of NGE. These are issues. These are what makes the whole journey still uneven. Then the issue of finance. It's always been difficult. Subscriptions has always been an issue with journalists. If you read the document that sets up the NGA, it says you should be well dressed. Somebody who is not well paid, how can he be well dressed? Salaries are inadequate, they are few and far between. And then another issue is coming up, the digital media. Some of the founders of digital media who are editors are also publishers. Should they remain in NGE, Nigerian Guild of Editors, or should they migrate to Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria? These are some of the issues that are still burning, that we don't even know how it will end.
In Ruben Abati's review of Media on My Mind, he laments works lost to time owing to bad storage practices.
In a country where records are hardly kept, where memory is short, and history is an optional subject in schools, it took the advent of digital technology for aspects of history and individual performance to be traceable through the instrumentality of the internet or electronic documentation. In the field of journalism in Nigeria in particular, so much has been done, written and spoken since 1859. But in the absence of a functional, well-managed documentation, library and archival system in the country, it is often difficult to research and access information or the outstanding work and experience of citizens. Where, for example, can anyone find the writings of the brilliant journalists of Nigeria's 19th century media space?
Then he gets into the substance of the book and its parting messages.
The book has a total of 106 chapters, divided into 12 sections, with specific focus on ethics, media regulation, enhancing reporting, governance, new media, terrorism, professional hazards, people and institutions, and language use. These articles, essays, lectures, interviews, and commentaries were written more than a decade ago, but they remain today as relevant as they were when they were originally written. Individually and collectively, they remind us of salient issues, not just about the practice of journalism, but also our society and institutions, our contemporary history and experience, and the difference that needs to be made at the twin levels of craft and citizenship. Lanre Idowu's consistency shines through in terms of his commitment to standards and best practices in journalism, but also in society and its institutions, and how individuals can make a difference.
The literary giant here and the guests believe that writings are important to national development. The 3 books, which explore decades of experiences, took about 40 years to write.